Tonight, as America gets ready to celebrate a landmark birthday, House Democrats are accusing President Trump of hijacking the anniversary for his own gain. A new report claims the donors who intended to give to the congressionally approved and bipartisan America 250 were actually given bank information to the Trump-backed initiative Freedom 250 without their knowledge. Now, if those allegations are proven true, it could constitute wire fraud. Trump established Freedom 250 last year to organize July 4th events in a way that his allies could control. That includes the Great American State Fair, which has been dogged by low turnout. But despite the birthday blues, Trump plans to put himself front and center on Saturday.
On July 4th, it's going to be approximately 107 degrees out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to make a really long speech just to show that I can do anything.
I think the big question, Ashley, for me about this is, was there ever a world in which like this moment could have been what it should be, which is a moment to actually celebrate America in a bipartisan unifying manner? Or was it made worse by the Trump decision to create this sort of like parallel structure that was actually very partisan around?
No, I think in this world, especially with Trump being president, anything he does becomes political, and that's just the facts. And we all know that. This isn't a political statement. I actually did my podcast from the lawn, and there weren't that many people there. Maybe it was my podcast, but
wasn't you?
I do have to say, though, it was early evening. But I do think that last night there were thousands and thousands of people in the same spot watching the FIFA game, the American play. So listen, I'm not going to criticize this one way or the other, and I'm going to discuss the unnamed sources in this report because unless they're going to come out and say who they are, like I don't believe anybody. But I also think that there are so many Europeans, there are so many people from around the world that are saying how great our country is, and we're sitting here. Not just on this show, I'm just saying in general, discussing if people are at a mall or not, and instead we should be celebrating the country.
But I think that I hear you, because I do agree that everything that Trump does it becomes political either from the right or the left. But I would also take it a step further, which you may disagree with, that everything Trump does, he takes ownership of, and it becomes about Donald Trump.
Yeah, he brings it on himself. Yeah, I'm not saying it one word. Yes.
Yeah, and so I think we're saying the same thing. I think that, yes, if you compare the 250 festivities to the World Cup festivities, they're night and day. I mean, I was in Houston, Texas, when the Netherlands was playing Sweden, and watching the Netherlands having to come out and celebrate with Houstonians was just fascinating. Or being in New York for Brazil versus Morocco and watching Brazilians take over Times Square and watching people just enjoy. Or you see the TikToks of people enjoying Popeyes, right? And enjoying American culture.
And ranch dressing.
And all the things that we kind of take for granted in the essence of America. It's fascinating to see. And then I believe that if Donald Trump, which I don't believe he's capable of, but if there was a president of the United States that actually took this moment to wrap the American flag around all of us, I think that this moment would actually be what it should be, which is a celebration of America for its warts, its progresses, because I've always said, we've made progress in this country. The problem is people like to put a period at the end of that when it should be a ... We still have yet a ways to go, though.
But it's also, I think, true. You talked about who's concerned about filling up, bodies on the mall. And I think the person most concerned about this is Trump himself. Here's what he said a few days ago about the speech that he's going to deliver on July 4th.
Then on July 4th, we will have the greatest show of all on the National Mall. Your favorite president will be speaking. So please show up. Because if we have 2 empty seats, you know what's going to happen? The fake news is going to say he didn't fill out the arena.
And CNN has reported earlier this week that when he gave a speech, I think it was last weekend, and there were so many, it was empty. He became livid. But the plans for Saturday night are for him to deliver a lengthy speech late at night and then have the fireworks start basically hours later than they normally do. One White House official vented, "I don't understand why we're doing this so late. I'm not really sure who thought this was a good idea." I don't know. It seems like a lot of it is happening because Trump wants to take up more space.
Look, I think two things. One, it's hard to compete with sports in general. People just love sports, and the World Cup doesn't happen every year. Those celebrations are going to be awesome. I look at July 4th as the big day. It's really hot in D.C. right now. We've talked about the weather. To sit outside for hours on end, I don't think it matters who the president is. You're looking at, are you going to take your little kids out there for long periods of time when it's really hot? Probably not. I've been to D.C. multiple times when Obama was president and when Bush was president for the 4th of July fireworks. It's awesome. But when it's really hot, the crowds are not as big. I think having it later is actually cool. It's going to be a little cooler when it's out there. And I think it's appropriate for the president, no matter who it is, to have a grand speech about how awesome America is on the 250th birthday. Sure we do. We absolutely do. I celebrate America. I love America. I love 250. I think it's amazing.
That's great. We all love America. And I was down there for FIFA last night. It was fun. It was great. It did not feel political whatsoever, even with all of the things around us that were like set dressing. And I agree. We do have a problem, I think, in this country of feeling pessimistic about being American. And the World Cup has been so great for that, which is why I wish everything that was set up was actually interesting. I do think that the heat and the weather is a deterrent for a lot of the crowds during the day. But I was out there, it's kind of boring, guys. Like, can we also talk about that? The content of what is provided on the mall.
What would you rather had, though?
Well, we have all of the Smithsonian's along the mall. We have so many things that actually represent the 250th, and those could have been integrated into the whole program.
I mean, look, let's be honest. I mean, the state fair, the criticism of it is that it is Trump coded. That, like, you would love it if you're a MAGA adherent, if you're Christian, if you're conservative, right-leaning, but everybody else doesn't feel represented. That's the main criticism.
And that's not why we go to a fair.
But we've also had an event. We've also had an event where we celebrated America just recently, just around Juneteenth. We had the opening of the Obama Library. And what you saw was, you asked, what could you do? What you saw was you had Bruce Springsteen, you had John Legend, you had...
They won't show up because Trump's president. You know that, and I know that.
And
it's not a you guys. Talk about a moment. It is a you guys.
But it was like people
if Democrats would actually just for a second go, man, this is about celebrating America.
I like a raging liberal. And I think one of the things also was that all these artists, they basically said, we feel like we were duped because we thought this was the bipartisan congressional celebration of America when it was really the Trump piece of it. And that's what people felt. That's one of the reasons that they said they pulled out.
It is that Donald Trump won an election, and Democrats were afraid to be associated with Donald Trump because they would care more about giving the middle finger to Trump than celebrating America.
That he set up a parallel organization that he controls that is different, separate and different from the one that Congress approved, that is truly nonpartisan. That is the difference. That's the Trump piece. I didn't invent that. He did.
Do you actually believe, though, that John Legend, as liberal as he is,
I didn't say John Legend
where Donald Trump showed up.
I will tell you
I didn't say John Legend.
I go back to this. You should put America ahead of the politics, and the left will not do it. If you want to know what the problem is, it's because the left refuses to work with anybody that doesn't agree with them.
I want to make a clarification on something, because going back to the podcast, I actually had 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans on it, and the Democrats that came on, one very, very left and one more middle of the road, they turned it into, wait, am I going to get in trouble from my side of the aisle? However, I'm just going to embrace the fact that I'm sitting in front of the United States Capitol right now and
that's
took it on.
No,
and they were great. They've gotten like great feedback.
The wild part about it is not everything has to be political.
Yeah.
And
then show up and sing.
But that is probably the most insensitive, wildest thing I've heard. It sounds a lot like, what did Megyn Kelly say? Shut up and dribble?
No, but the problem is, you want to celebrate America and you don't want to be partisan, then show up and celebrate America and not make it about yourself and Donald Trump's the president.
But Ben, what we're trying
like the Foo Fighters, show up. They're amazing. I love them.
What we're trying to articulate to you is there are people,
music and I will be
there were people like Morris Day and the Time that agreed to show up for the event that was a nonpartisan event, and they were duped.
And then the media started asking questions, and then they got nervous. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to celebrate America, they're like, oh, this has Trump's name on it. I got to run away.
But Ben, what we want you to do when you talk about celebrate America is one of the things
It's fireworks on the 4th of July.
Okay, let's let him finish his thought.
Can I finish my thought?
Sure, it's fireworks on the 4th of July.
Because you're not, you interrupt because you just can't win this thing. But what I'm trying to say is, look, Ben,
break.
Thank you. What I'm trying to say is, while you want us to celebrate America, we want to celebrate America in the diversity that makes America what it is, right?
So it's a kumbaya
Oh, my
event.
God.
Okay.
No, it's not a kumbaya.
Sounds like it.
It's
Exclude Donald
all right.
Trump, and then we'll
my
show
God.
up.
If this was a test,
I said diversity.
Foo Fighters and John Legend, show up.
I said diversity, and
if this was a
short
test,
circuited.
I think,
no, but it's
I think it's been failed.
You guys do this every
All right,
time.
guys.
Trump. Every time.
We got to move on here. Next for us, we'll hear from some of your feedback. We're going to have that when we come back. Stay with us.